I was born with what they call a supraarachnoid cyst on the brain, which can't be removed. It's a bit like a flat pancake, and it holds 2.5 pints of fluid. They classified it when I was 9 months old. I had to have a shunt fitted, but I couldn't have a shunt fitted till I was 5. They fitted me with a small, what they call a Rinaldi valve. From that, I then had to go back to specialised schooling because I wasn't able to learn at the same pace and level as everybody else. At the age of 9, I then had to have the old pump removed and a new one fitted because I was growing again, and I would have to have had 4 of them within my lifetime. That led to me having complications. I had both viral and bacterial meningitis, so I caught them, not through my own fault. And then from there I then had to, I had all my left side all paralysed, so that's why I have lots of problems with my left side of my body, and I had to learn how to walk and use my limbs again as such. I was in hospital for over 6 months through the meningitis. In that time I clinically died twice, which wasn't nice. From that it led me to going into preparatory schools once again. I then went back into preparatory schools I used to live in South Africa at the time, and then came back here in 1979 because I used to wear a metal skull cap, which I've still got. That's in the garage, hooked up. Don't wear it anymore, but I had to wear that, and it was a chin strap and everything to make sure if I fell over that nothing would happen to me. I then went into British Hall, then from there I went to Saxon Hill in Lichfield. I was put in there. Then my father, in his wisdom, at the age of 13, decided that preparatory schools were not for his children, so he took me out and put me into mainstream, which is Western Road High. I went to Western Road High, went through the system, left with very little qualifications because I was learning at a different pace, a different way of working. I left school with very little qualifications, which then put a very bitter taste in my mouth because I thought there would be support and help out there in the 80s. Well, there wasn't. I went on to a YTS, which is the youth training scheme. I qualified as a carpenter and joiner. I went through the building trade and did 14 years out in the building trade, so it's a very dangerous industry, but I worked in the industry doing what I could, and I was classified as semi-skilled because of my disability, but at least I was earning some money whilst I was having the problems. From that I then decided that it was time to sort of change my tact. I then decided to go and look at what I could do with helping other people less fortunate than myself. So I started with the Main Cap Support Services, which is basically you act as an advocate for people with disabilities. You pick them up from their homes, do whatever activities they want to do, and then take them back. A bit like a taxi service. So I did that for 5 years. I then moved on to the Oak Tree Farm Rural Project. Some of my service users went to the Oak Tree Farm Rural Project and are still on there today, and that's quite nice. And I started as a volunteer, helping and supporting people, sitting alongside them as a buddy to enable them to sort of do things for themselves. I became a support worker, so I did it that side of things for about 12-15 months, and then was asked would I like to go and become a trustee on the actual panel, and I said yes, I didn't mind. I've been doing that now for 15 years, so I've now become the disability representative for Oak Tree Farm. From there I've moved into other areas like working for Beam, which is what they call Mid-Staff Main Cap, and I did voluntary through the Support Staffordshire. From that I became a trustee on Beam's books. I'm there now, and I've been there over 7 years, and it's to helping people once again who are above the age of 18, adults, to access opportunities or employment opportunities. I did the job club, stuff like that with them. So I've got my qualifications as an advocate and also as a mentor to enable them to get their opportunities. On the side of that, I went and became an organisation which was called BUILD, which is British Institute for Learning Disabilities in Birmingham, Edgbaston. They do a lot of work for people with autism and learning disabilities, but they mainly help people with autistic issues and try and find them jobs which are appropriate. We try and raise policies through the government and try and sort of make sure that people with disabilities are not sort of sidelined, and that people who've got disabilities, their issues, wants, needs or questions are answered. So we try and sort of give them a picture of this is what's happening, this is where it's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, and who are we going to meet. So we've got quite a good diary of what we're trying to achieve. And then on top of that, from Build, I'm on an organisation called Build for the Future, which is once again an organisation which is nationwide, where we have people coming in on Zoom and they have their say on what they want to achieve, and making sure that all the negatives that they've had to face up to, we can try some way turning it into a positive so that they can go away and know that they've done something which is beneficial for them. I do what they call MAVIC training. We do that, and I also do enter and view, and I do also custody suite training. So I do 3 different types of training with them now, where we basically enable people with disabilities to go in there to talk to the police, and we do the training with them. We do a PowerPoint presentation on day 1. Then on to day 2, we bring people from all around Staffordshire to come in and actually sit on the tables with the police officers. And then we sort of try and enable them to understand what it's like for a person with learning disability. We try and do a lot of role plays. So we sort of just give the police just a bit of an insight into what it's like all round. And the second day we do all the, like, person with a learning disability going into a job centre, and they get a call out, which is to the police. They get a call out called Angry Man. It isn't Angry Man, it's Frustrated Man, because he's asking the questions, or she's asking the questions and not getting the answers, because the people on the other side of the counter haven't got the training themselves. So it shows you there is a massive void between the two, but it enables them to sort of get an insight into how to conduct themselves when talking to a person who's got a learning difficulty or disability, and that's why we do it for that reason. Well, I'm looking at Oliver McGowan as being, because I have heard it mentioned quite a few times by Build and stuff like that, and other people have been away and done the courses and said brilliant. And I've also had feedback from them, because I've also been in contact with them as well since I last came in the office, and they said do it, because you'll get a lot of help and support and a lot of mechanisms that are involved with Oliver McGowan to enable you to take out there into the wider community. You might not need to use it, but you might come up against people like that, and they might just feel that they need that bit of somebody who's got some training, and they can confide in you, that you know something about how their life is and problems they're going through. So it enables you to sort of have that one-to-one conversation with them, like where other people might not have that skill or opportunity. You've got that skill and opportunity, and take it to the bigger picture.